In the quiet heart of Cumbria lies the Lake District, a land shaped from the old counties of Cumberland and Westmoreland. Beneath its breathtaking beauty, however, lingers a sense of something older, an undercurrent of mystery and the supernatural. Here, history and legend are woven so tightly together that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. The largest of its lakes, Windermere, may not rival the vast lochs of Scotland or the lochs of Ireland in size, yet it stands as an icon in its own right, a place steeped in folklore and legend, history and tragedy. Among its stories, one stands apart. So haunting, it's the only ghost marked on the Ordnance Survey map. As the fog rolls down the mountains and settles over the water, it brings with it a warning, a tale of a voice once human, and may yet still echo across the lake centuries on. During the 12th century, Furness Abbey stood as one of the wealthiest and most powerful monasteries in England. To the southwest of Windermere, the Cistercian monks believed in their sacred duty to save the souls of women from the sins of the flesh. But one monk failed his faith. He fell in love with one of these so-called fallen women, and for that love he abandoned his vows, his brothers, and his God. Through the forest and fog, he journeyed towards Claife Heights on the western banks of Lake Windermere, desperate to confess his forbidden affection. But when he found her, she wanted nothing more to do with him. Heartbroken and lost, he wandered the forest alone, his cries of anguish carrying for miles across the waters and through the valleys. Each night, his wailing grew weaker, until one day it stopped, and the Crier of Claife could be heard no more. By the 13th century, ferrymen worked these waters daily, rowing heavy wooden boats through sudden storms and shifting mists. These were hardened men, not easily frightened. One evening, a ferryman, unaware of the local warnings, heard a call for passage from the far side of the lake, and so he grasped his oars and rowed out into the fog, vanishing into the fading light. When his boat was found the next morning, he was barely alive, pale, trembling, and muttering incoherently. He died 3 days following, raving in fever, never revealing what he'd seen. To the superstitious men working the lake, their fellow ferrymen had fallen victim to the Crier of Claife. Terrified, the villagers sought help from the monks of Furness Abbey, the same brotherhood the doomed monk had once belonged to. They came together to exorcise the tormented spirit of their fallen brother. But whether the ritual succeeded is a matter of debate. For centuries following, loss of life on the lake would be attributed to this omen of death. Some have even linked the crier to the Great Ferry disaster of 1635, when over 40 lives were lost. The ferry carried a wedding party that night, a celebration of love. Perhaps that's what angered him most. Many of these instances preceded by the eerie call of the crier, resonating from shore to shore. The call that locals knew better than to acknowledge, and left the ferries moored to the dock. Others have speculated that the ghostly wailing could be attributed to a more earthly phenomenon. Particularly during the 19th century, moonshining whiskey became a popular venture in these parts for farmers facing financial hardship. Evading the authorities under the cover of darkness, moonshiners would fire up their whiskey stills, hidden away deep in the woods. As these illicit stills would come to boil, they would release a piercing whistling noise that could reverberate and distort as it echoed through the hills. Though this doesn't explain the legend of the ill-fated ferryman, nor reports of the crier long after the days of moonshining. Centuries have passed, yet his story persists. So, is the legend just another ghost story born from superstition and the awe of wild Cumbria? Or does something truly linger in the mists above Windermere?